Hi, this is DJ Dave here again, just giving you a bit of help with your wedding planning. So it's about 9 months until your wedding, so before we get started on anything for the future, I just wanted to quickly review what should be done by now, and if you haven't done that, what you can do to speed up the process to get on track. So the first thing that you need to have done by now is you need to have everyone who's doing something to help with the wedding in place and knowing what they're doing. So that includes all the people that you know and love, any family members and friends that are helping out. They need to know exactly what it is that you need them to do, and they need to have said yes to that. And secondly, all the suppliers that are helping, people that you're paying money to come in, they also need to know exactly the date that you need them and what you need them to do, and you need to know how much they're going to charge you. So if you haven't done all of that, the easiest way to catch up quickly is to go back into your manifest and have a look at what's going on, what you've got recorded and where the gaps are, and to stop agonizing and actually appoint someone to every single role. Even if you don't have someone you think is super excellent, please go ahead and just appoint someone and see what they do. You've got 9 months to go now, so you can appoint someone, get back to them in 3 months' time, and you've still got plenty of time if you need to ask someone else to go and do that. But if you wiggle around for the next 3 months, you're starting to run out of time. So get out there and do that, and you'll catch up very, very quickly, and you'll be surprised at how much people bend over backwards and try and help you out. The second thing that should be done by now is the guest list. And if you haven't done that, a really quick way to catch up is to simply divide the number of people you're planning to have into 4. You take one, create a list for yourself, get your groom to create another list, and then get the parents from both sides to also contribute a list of the people that they would like to see at the wedding, and then you can collate that information, and very quickly you'll be able to develop a guest list which reflects all of the key people's needs. The next thing that should be sorted by now is dress and fashion. So if you haven't got at least your dress sorted out and the bridesmaids, the quickest way to catch that up is actually to just go out and buy a dress. So set yourself a budget, could be $200, $500, and just buy a dress that you could wear on your wedding day. It might not be your perfect wedding dress, but if you don't have a dress that you can wear, you're going to start going a little bit crazy now. So get a dress that you can wear, and that's going to then mean that you can relax and go, I've got my dress, and if I find a better dress, I'll go and wear that. So the next thing that you should have done by now is what's called a draft running sheet. So this is a timing sheet of everything that you want to be happening on the day in the order that you want it to happen. The times don't have to be set in stone, but probably put some times next to it as well. This is really, really important because your suppliers need this. A lot of your suppliers can have a look at your running sheet and let you know if there's any logistical problems with what's going on very early in the piece. So definitely go to your manifest, have a look, and get your run sheet done in there, and just put everything in the order that it needs to happen and put some approximate times and get that off to people. The easiest way to get this done quickly if you're struggling with it is actually to delegate it. You could get your groom to do this, or you could get your maid of honor to do this as well. So don't be shy to send that manifest off to someone else and say, hey, can you turn this into a run sheet for me? Someone who's organized and structural if that's not your thing. So that can be caught up very, very quickly, but it's very important to us as suppliers to know that early in the piece. The next thing that should be done by now is just the basics of your honeymoon, so where you're going and how you're getting there. If you haven't done that by now, a really quick way to get that sorted out is to simply ring a local travel agent and give them a budget and a basic idea of what you want to do, and get them to get back to you with 3 options. This will mean that you've got the basics in place very, very quickly, and you've got someone else doing the work for you. The final thing to have done by now is just what we call legal basics. So just understanding legally what is required of you to be married. Don't rely entirely on your celebrant for this. 95% of them are going to do it perfectly for you, but if they don't do it right, it becomes your problem. So the easiest way to get that done very quickly if you haven't done it yet is just to jump onto Google and just write wedding registration and then the area that you live in. So for me, it would be South Australia, and then just do some reading of the things that pop up on Google. So if you do that, you're going to very quickly get some information that you need. You don't need to be an expert in this. Just some basic reading around this means that when you talk to your celebrant, you know the key things that they need to do for you. So they're the things that you need to have done by now. And if you've done those things, you can really relax and know that you're on track. But if you do want to get ahead, the next thing to have a look at is actually organising the detail of the reception. Now, a lot of brides come to me and say, shouldn't I be organising the ceremony first? But in actual fact, operationally, you need to organise the reception first. The ceremony is logistically a lot simpler, and so the reception needs to be organised, and then you can take the ceremony onto the front of that. It's not how people think about it in their mind because they think in a time flow, but actually getting your reception organised is more logistically complicated and should be done first. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to organise your reception because it's uniquely yours, but what I am going to talk to you a little bit about is what I see a reception being. And I got a lot actually from listening to a Lutheran pastor who was doing a speech at a wedding probably about 12 months ago, and I've thought about it a lot since. Now, this pastor said that your reception is an expression of your union and your hopes for the future, and it gives a message to every single person in that room about how you would like them to help you create the future for yourself and your husband. And I thought that's such a good summary about what a reception is about, and it's really coloured my thinking in the last 12 months about how I contribute to a wedding. So what is key in organising a reception? What are the structural elements that you need to have in place to make sure your reception runs well? So the first thing that you want to put in place is a running sheet. This is a timed description of what you want to happen from start to finish at the reception. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as a list of things and then some times next to it. But it's really, really important to have this and give it to suppliers and also to everyone that's helping you with the wedding so that they understand what you want to happen when. The second thing that you need to have in place is a menu. This is really, really important for the chef because the chef has logistically the most complicated task out of any provider. And the sooner you let them know exactly what you want to eat and how you want it delivered, the sooner they can get to work. The final part of the puzzle to have in place at this early stage is called a shot list. This is something to give your photographer, and it explains to the photographer exactly the shots that you need to capture as lifelong memories, the shots that you just can't do without. It could be a shot with your great-grandmother, it could be a shot with a newborn baby. This is so important for the photographer because they need to know exactly what you need to do and when so they can compare it to the running sheet and let you know if there are going to be any time or logistical constraints which might prevent you from getting the photos that you need. So getting those three things done is absolutely key to getting your reception organised, but also once you've done those three things, you've really got the fundamentals in place for having a great reception. So if you can get out there, get those three things done, you're really on track for this one. This has been David Bartholomew's. Thank you so much for making the time.